Firefighters making some progress on 2 wildfires in the metro area, and a little rain rolled in this afternoon. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for 9 News at 5. I'm Tom Green.
And I'm Kim Christensen. After a week of burning, the Alexander Mountain fire is now 74% contained. The fire didn't grow in size today as crews are getting a better handle on the perimeter. The Alexander Mountain fire remains around 9,600 acres. More than 530 people are working on the fire. Also today, officials say they got a little rain, providing some extra help in the firefight. And more good news. Some mandatory evacuations triggered by the Alexander Mountain fire were lifted this afternoon.
People living on Highway 34 through Idlewild Lane now under voluntary evacuations. And 9 News reporter Janelle Finch spoke with people as they returned home, as well as some others still waiting for their turn.
There's no place like home, especially after an unintended week away.
It's really nice to be back. We got home about 7 o'clock last night.
Ashley Bernal woke up in her bed for the first time Monday. Her family evacuated last week as the Alexander Mountain fire grew 10 miles from her home.
So we've been at 3 different hotels and at my aunt's house, and my aunt, I love her to death, but we were in a little bed because, you know, we're staying with relatives. So.
Bernal is back in her bed, but thinking of her neighbors keeps her up at night.
It's still really hard thinking that there are people that lost their homes.
Bob Seebeck hasn't seen his home since last Monday.
I dropped my important things and, important papers and stuff like that, and then been staying with friends since then.
His home on Lakeview Drive is just on the other side of this road closure on Highway 34. He says his property is okay, but flames got as close as 1,000 feet.
Every day and probably every couple of hours I was checking in on that.
He's beginning the process of returning home. He picked up his credential and now
I'm waiting for that call. Yep.
He's hopeful. Good news will come soon. Credentialing for re-entry continues through tomorrow at the Larimer County Loveland campus, as well as the Estes Park Event Center. This upcoming weekend as well, there's going to be a recovery center opening up for people in need at the Larimer County Convention Center. Live in Loveland, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Janelle, that afternoon rain that fell there had to feel good, but also good for the mind and the soul for many people.
Absolutely. Lots of symbolic good news there.
All right. Thanks, Janelle.
Good feeling.
Yeah. We turn to Jefferson County. Officials now have just told us that the Quarry Fire is 45% contained. This is some of the video from Sky 9 this morning showing little fire activity, at least in the early hours. But at around noon, we did see a burst of smoke come up from the area again. They say that's because firefighters spent their day doing controlled burns, trying to decrease fuels and increase their containment lines. That fire listed at about 530 acres in size. The Jeffco Sheriff's Office saying they're very optimistic with progress that they've made.
And you know what, Tom, Kim, we have been on edge for the past week with the hot, dry weather, the wind. We've been watching it so very closely. Mother Nature will finally lend a helping hand this week. Today, we're tracking a few scattered showers and storms that are coming off the Front Range foothills. Some beneficial rain, not really clearing out the air as much as we would like. A lot of smoke and haze. We continue with above average temperatures through Wednesday, but cooler weather comes in Thursday into Friday, along with some beneficial rain. And the temperatures this afternoon down from yesterday, that record tying 102. We're down to 91 in Denver this afternoon, 91 in Greeley, 80 in Fort Collins. We will take that. We'll also take higher humidity values. Love to see that. And we're watching that wind forecast very carefully. Winds at the surface out of the east and southeast blowing from about 15 to 25 miles per hour. But there's also the chance for some beneficial soaking rains along the foothills and even in Denver over the next couple of hours. Something we're worried about is the lightning that's coming in with these gusty thunderstorms as they come off the foothills. But rain is certainly something that we could be seeing, along with temperatures trending down over the next few hours. Much more on the timing and impact of those afternoon and evening thunderstorms coming up in weather.
And new at 5, a judge has awarded nearly $1 billion to victims of the Penrose Return to Nature funeral home. Last week, a judge ruled in favor of 125 families in a class action lawsuit against Carrie and John Halford, owners of the funeral home, who are accused of abandoning 200 bodies. The ruling is largely symbolic. It's unclear if the families will actually see any money. A letter sent to them states the judgment doesn't translate into recovery. It just allows victims to pursue collections against the Halfords. They are both facing criminal charges at the state and federal level.
2 weeks from today, the Democratic National Convention will get underway in Chicago. And by this time tomorrow, we should know Kamala Harris's pick for a running mate. Yesterday, Harris met with 3 finalists for the job: Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, and Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. Her pick to run alongside her will then join Harris at a rally tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Charges that former Trump campaign attorney Jenna Ellis were facing in Arizona are now being dropped, but it's part of a cooperation agreement. Ellis from Weld County is now cooperating with prosecutors there and is willing to testify in the case. She'd previously pleaded not guilty to fraud and conspiracy charges in the fake electors case in Arizona. She's already pleaded guilty in Georgia regarding false statements about the 2020 election, and as a result has been barred from practicing law in Colorado for 3 years.
A big blow to Google. A federal ruling today says Google violated antitrust laws with its search practices. This could impact the way millions of people get their information online. The landmark case was filed in 2020 by a coalition of attorneys general, led by Colorado's AG Phil Weiser. The suit claimed Google spent billions on exclusive contracts to secure a dominant position as the default search engine, blocking other companies. It's unclear what penalties Google could be facing.
Now you wait until Broncos football is almost over. And while we await the preseason games, this past weekend a special one for the Broncos' newest Hall of Famer. The leader of the Orange Crush defense, Randy Gradishar, got to put on that gold jacket and unveil his Hall of Fame bust. The ceremony in Canton, literally just a few miles from where Randy grew up in Ohio. Now, as far as this year, we're now just 6 days away from some Broncos football. This Sunday, the team back for their first preseason game of the year. Our coverage starts at 10:30 on Sunday morning with game time at 11 o'clock. The game's in Indy against the Colts, and you can watch it all live on KTVD, or you can stream it for free on 9 News Plus.